Hello there, boxing fans around the world. Thank you for joining us once again on Talk and Fight for another episode of Boxing News Today. And today we're going to start off down in Argentina, where Christian Estrada won the World Boxing Association FIDEBOL Super Welterweight title this weekend after defeating Christian Andino by knockout in 2 rounds and taking the belt from him at the Palacio de los Portes in Mar del Plata in Buenos Aires. Ayala's youth and physical fitness were noticeable from the very beginning. It was a one-way fight to the surprise of the fans who expected much more parity between Ayala and the hitherto champion Andino, who were both from Argentina. But a right hand to the face sent Andino to the canvas in the very first round, and although he recovered, he looked in bad shape. Seeing what happened in the opening round, Ayala came out determined to end the fight in the second chapter and launched an attack to connect Andino and put him on the ropes. It was another right hand to the jaw that sent Andino to the canvas again in that round, and although the referee was making the protective count, the corner decided to intervene. Ayala showed his strength against a more experienced opponent, defeated him with ease, and won the regional belt that will help him get a better opportunity in the future. At 20 years of age, he has been gradually improving and has already made a name for himself on the continental scene. His record now improves to 7 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw, with 3 knockouts. For his part, Andino dropped to 16 wins, 3 losses, 1 draw, with 2 knockouts. Moving a bit further north, we see that Vertex Promotions returns on February 12th with another St. Valentine's Day Massacre, headlined by undefeated super lightweight prospect Adrian Tonka Sosa. And again, that will take place at Mosley's on the Charles in Dedham, Massachusetts. Says Vertex promoter Dave Clark, we're very excited to continue promoting our shows to showcase local talent. We made our debut last September and promoted 3 more pro shows last year. We've learned a lot and continue our goal to keep local fighters active and provide an entertaining night out for fans. And they're setting a great example, and hopefully we'll see more of that in 2022. The 26-year-old Sosa, who's 12-0, fighting out of Lawrence, Massachusetts, headlined Vertex show last September in its first action in more than 2 years. He will take on an opponent to be determined in an 8-round main event. In an 8-round co-featured event, undefeated ABF American West and NBA Continental Champion Ray J. the Destroyer Bermudez, who's 15-0 with 11 knockouts, faces another to be determined fighter. As the Albany fighter continues his march towards a major fight, undefeated welterweight prospect James the Slim Reaper Parella, who's 8-0 with 5 knockouts, fighting out of Mansfield, Massachusetts, is matched tough against Mexican challenger Danny Venado Flores, who's 15-26-1 with 8 knockouts in an 8-round bout. It's tank time again. Undefeated Weymouth, Massachusetts super welterweight prospect Frank the Tank Hogan, who's 9-0 with 9 knockouts, will attempt to keep his perfect record intact and go for a 10-for-10 and 8-rounder versus, again, an boxer to be announced. Of note to Mike Orr at 4 and his fans, Boston Irish will be in the house as Ireland natives Lethal Larry Friars, who's 11-5 with 4 knockouts, goes head-to-head against Tommy the Kid O'Toole, who's 2-0 with 2 knockouts. And Friars is a welterweight now living in Yonkers, New York, as an Ulster Intermediate champion, while light heavyweight O'Toole, who's 2-0, returns to the Boston area for his 3rd pro fight. And O'Toole is fighting out of Galway, and he's a 2019 Irish Elite Championship gold medalist. Friars will be in the scheduled 8-rounder with O'Toole, and both will be matched against opponents to be determined. Elsewhere in America, at the West Coast, we see that Jose Ramirez is going toe-to-toe against Jose Pedraza. Jose Ramirez and the Jose Pedraza Junior Welterweight Showdown has been postponed to Friday, March 4th at the Save Mart Center live, which will be shown exclusively on ESPN Plus after Pedraza had tested positive for COVID-19. The homecoming of former unified junior welterweight world champion Jose Ramirez is happening just 27 days later than expected. Central Valley native Ramirez will fight former 2-weight champion Jose Sniper Pedraza in the 12-round main event as I said, on March 4th in Fresno, California. They were scheduled to fight February 4th, but as I said, Petroza tested positive for COVID. And now in the 6th round heavyweight special feature immediately before the main event, Olympic silver medalist Richard Torres Jr., also from the Central Valley town of Tulare, California, will make his long-awaited professional debut. The 10-round co-feature will see top-ranked debut featherweight contender Joet Gonzalez, who will fight Filipino veteran Gio Santisma. The entire Ramirez Petroza card, as I said, will stream live and exclusively in the United States on ESPN+. Speaking of California, we see that Juan Francisco Estrada is going toe-to-toe against Roman Gonzalez III. That will take place at the Pachanga Arena in San Diego, a day after the aforementioned fight on the 5th of March. Juan Francisco Gallo Estrada, the current World Boxing Association super flyweight champion, expects to be a lot more active in 2022 than he was in 2021. Last year, he starred in his best fight against Nicaraguan Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez, and it was his only fight. He says it's always bad to be inactive for so long. However, we've always been training because I was at a date, first October, then December, and then they changed it to March. But I've been coming in, so I haven't been inactive 100%. I hope I fight in March and then see what comes next, said the Mexican 115-pound champion. The fans are certainly looking forward to this third fight between Gallo and Chocolatito, who won in their 2 bouts and left great sensations, and this motivates the Aztec warrior even more. It's a fight that people are expecting. The first 2 bouts were well liked, and the third I don't want to leave any doubts. I want to win convincingly, said Estrada. Elsewhere, making his professional debut in 2006 and retiring in 2013, Lightning Lonnie Smith challenged for the Universal Boxing Organization World Lightweight title in 2012, and we have a little bit of an update. AKA El Negro Mexicano, due to his exciting fighting style, Smith appeared to have it all to become a star in the sport. Looks, talent, a great trainer and Hall of Famer Eddie Mustafa Muhammad, and more than solid pedigree. His father was former WBC World Super Lightweight Champion Lonnie Smith Sr., who had a record of 44-7-2 with 26 knockouts, from whom he inherited the Lightning moniker. Unfortunately for the younger Smith, who regularly sparred with former two-division world champion Zab Judah, bad luck probably prevented him from going all the way. He started boxing at 13, compiled a good 51-10 amateur record, winning numerous national and international tournaments against tough competition before entering the paid ranks at 19 years of age. However, he didn't take the professional scene by storm. In his first 18 months as a prize fighter, and after 9 bouts, his record stood at a mediocre 5-2-2, which he has blamed on poor management. But then things started to come together for Smith as he won his next 9 straight before losing to world-class champion fighter Vicente Escobedo, who was 24-3 at the time, in March of 2012. Not long after, in June, he got a second shot at glory when he fought reigning WBO World Lightweight Champion Mason Menard, who was 19-1, in Louisiana. Menard won a unanimous decision, but Smith proved that he belonged on that stage. He was going to prove it again twice, but unfortunately Smith never got a second chance to emulate his father's achievements of becoming a world champion. In March of 2013, he appeared on his way to beating 18-1-1 Michael Perez on the Bernard Hopkins versus Tavares Cloud undercard in New York, when a clash of head forced the fight to be stopped and declared a technical draw. 2 months later, he floored another contender, Cornelius Locke, who was 26-1 at the time with 13 knockouts twice, but was not awarded the decision after 10 rounds in Detroit. He retired with a record of 14-5-3 with 10 knockouts and a lot of unfulfilled potential. Elsewhere around the world, speaking of who's up and coming, let's see, Daniel Dubois is going toe-to-toe against Trevor Bryan, perhaps. Daniel Dubois has placed his winning of a first world title belt right at the top of his 2022 wish list and has WBA champion Trevor Bryan firmly in his sights. The London heavyweight knockout artist, known as Dynamite, enjoyed a productive 2021 with 2 typical knockout victories over Bogdan Dinu and Joe Kuzmanu to take his professional ring record to 17-1 with 16 stoppages, and more importantly, place himself in the top spot of the WBA rankings. His explosive success has seen him installed as the #1 challenger for the WBA World Heavyweight Championship, currently held by American Bryan. Promoter Frank Warren has indicated a March return for the 24-year-old and says he would favor a straight shot at the champion if the fight can be made. Says Dubois, it is a new year with new things on the horizon, so I'm really excited. It was a good year to kickstart the comeback, and I enjoyed it, and everything went well. I just look forward to the future now, a new year, a new start, and a new beginning. That Brian match is a fight. It's going to happen. It's a fight I want, a title I want. Things are ticking at the moment, and hopefully it will go that way. Speaking of British heavyweights, Joyce has been told he'll be able to carry on punching in 6 weeks' time as he accelerates his recovery following a wrist injury that ruled him out of an early 2022 date. The Juggernaut was scheduled for February action with the intention of beefing up his CV and topping up his appearance ahead of a potential world heavyweight title tilt later this year. The 36-year-old is number 1 ranked by the WBO and is next in line to face the winner of the forthcoming Alexander Usyk Anthony Joshua rematch, which looks likely to take place in May. Again, promoter Frank Warren has indicated a preference for April when it comes to Joyce's return to action. The 13-0 Putney man with 12 stoppages to his name sustained the injury after returning from a training stint with his revered coach Ismael Salas in Las Vegas, who he was unable to work with across to build up to his victory over Carlos Takam at Wembley in July of last year due to travel restrictions. Speaking of let's meet someone, let's meet a direct descendant of the great Rocky Marciano. Brandon Cappiello dropped another music video today about the New England Patriots. For those of you who may not know, they're a National Football League team out of Massachusetts, who we've mentioned earlier. Anyway, Cappiello's paternal great-grandmother and Marciano's wife were sisters. His grandfather, Michael Donut Cappiello, traveled everywhere with Rocky during his undefeated Hall of Fame professional boxing career. Brandon's father and uncle, respectively, promoter, matchmaker Rich Cappiello, and trainer, former pro boxer Mike Cappiello, own and operate Cappiello Boxing Gym in downtown Brockton, Massachusetts. Now, most of you will know that is known as the City of Champions, mainly due to Hall of Famer Marvelous Marvin Hagler, who also fought out of Brockton. If you want to read more on this story about this young musician, please go to boxing247.com. There's a very extensive story on the youngster there. And I'd like to thank you very much for joining me for all the headlines today. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. And we'll see you once again tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.